Now we'll look at another price ladder trend reversal pattern. Now the importance is again the personality change, and after a trend move, the first sign of a potential trend reversal or temporary halting of the trend, depending on the time frame you're looking at, you could have a daily breakout move, but you're hitting a bottom during the day on an hourly play, even though at the end of the day it might trade lower, but during that hour you're able to actually find a little bit of a relief rally if the market's been selling off, and the converse is true towards the upside. And really what you're trying to observe the personality change, and let me just make this very clear. For those of you who are trading the ladder, there's normally one type of auctioning activity that goes when the market is moving in a direction. So as the market starts moving in direction, it participates in a certain type of auctioning speed. And whilst it is auctioning at a certain speed and activity level, it reaches a point where all of a sudden that auctioning activity, or a new flipper comes into the market, or new type of auctioning activity changes, or auctioning personality, and that's a lot of times the subtle first clue that the market has shifted the way it moved. And the moment it shifted its way it's moved, it's your first little subtle clue that that trend might not hold. So if you are trading the direction of that trend, now it's time to either scale out your position, or potentially on a smaller time frame look for some reversal plays if all of a sudden you see an absorber coming to the market, or a distributor coming to the market, or a flipper coming to the market. And a lot of those times it's that new personality shift that gives you that first indication. So again, let me just explain that clearly, is that the market will move in a direction on a uniform, almost a uniformed way, or uniform way of activity and auctioning speed. But once that uniformed way kind of almost changes its personality, that's your first signal to start liquidating a pre-existing position or start getting into a new position. So really important on how you try and observe that. But that takes a lot of dedicated practice and observation when you're watching the market. So the personality change can take a form of any combination of order flow patterns learned in this program. So, from absorption to flip type plays, to spoofing patterns, and whilst you observe all of those little subtleties, you're able to, as your eye becomes more acclimatized to the price ladder, you're able to execute the right strategies accordingly. The key is to quickly observe that change and then adapt your execution and size management strategy appropriately. And so as you notice the change, do you start liquidating most of your size quite quickly? Do you liquidate, you take some off the table, or you start cutting and reversing your position? There's a whole myriad of different opportunities as you develop yourself as your own instinctive trader. Now it's also the relative auctioning activity, as we mentioned before. So as that changes, then are those subtle clues for you. Or, if the market is moving in a very aggressive manner towards the upside, then all of a sudden that aggressive manner turns a lot more passive. It starts auctioning at a slower rate. The auction activity becomes slow. Well, then all of a sudden you're saying, well, the market is failing to auction higher at the same relative speed that it was auctioning before. So you start changing your tactics. You start re-maneuvering. You start maneuvering around the ladder accordingly on how you see this personality shift. And that's kind of one of a very key observation to make on trend reversals. And really, it's this graph that depicts over here from uniform price action to personality shift to the trend breather. So you'll have a uniform price action, and then from that uniform price action you have a personality shift. So you see a new type of order flow coming to the market, and from that personality shift you have potential trend change or trend reversal, or at least a trend breathing, so you can start liquidating your previous positions that you're entering in on the market.